is the Fox 5 News Block.
The Senate's marathon voting session pays off for President Trump as they narrowly advance the massive spending bill with a tie-breaking vote. And we are still following some breaking news in Lower Manhattan. The Sean Diddy Combs jury is on day 2 of deliberations, passing numerous notes to the judge asking questions about the charges. Good afternoon, and Bianca Peters. Welcome to the News Block. Low stories in a moment, but first, here's a live look outside right now. A strong storm is about to drench the region through this evening and through the overnight hours. Let's bring in meteorologist Audrey Puente for a look at the forecast right now. Hey, Audrey.
Hi, Bianca. We start off with more in the way of sunshine in that sky cam shot earlier this morning, but now the clouds are beginning to invade our skies. We have mostly cloudy conditions being reported in Central Park with a temperature of 86 degrees. It's 93 now at LaGuardia. Sunshine and 92 is what's being reported from Atlantic City. Now, we do have the elevated risk here of strong to severe thunderstorms in the area shaded in yellow here, and we're already seeing some erupt across the region. Now, the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm watch for most of New Jersey here. This is until 9 p.m. The orange flashing box here, that's indicating a severe thunderstorm that's actually working out of Pike County here, heading towards Trenton at the moment. You can see things are kind of firing up here on our radar. So we do have showers coming up. We have some thunderstorms too that are popping up, and the main line is still off towards our west, but out ahead of it, it's very unstable. So we do have the threat of scattered showers and storms for the rest of the afternoon. So have your umbrella handy if you're planning to head out. Some of those thunderstorms could produce some significant downpours. We're looking at rainfall amounts anywhere from, let's say, half an inch to almost 2 inches across parts of the area. As a result, flooding could be an issue, and that's why the Weather Service has issued a flood watch for the areas shaded in green here right across portions of New Jersey. So there could be some overflowing of some area rivers and creeks in that part of the state here. So for the rest of the afternoon and into the evening, we are expected scattered showers and storms. I'll time them out for you coming up. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, it is day 2 of deliberations in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. The jury of 8 men and 4 women just sent notes to the judge asking about some of the testimony in the case. Fox 6's Arthur Sheehan live in Lower Manhattan with details coming out of the court. Arthur, what's the latest?
Bianca, what you mentioned is the latest. They want details from the testimony of 2 witnesses in the case, and they wanted the rebacks there. But the good news perhaps here is that the jury is back on track. Yesterday sent a note with concerns about one of the jurors not following directions. They seem to have worked past that because the note that you mentioned is technically the 3rd note to come out of the jury. The decision that's before them is a very significant one. They are deciding whether or not Sean Diddy Combs will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Now, we want to talk about the charges. In all, there are 5 counts, and they are in 3 categories. The first category is a single count of racketeering. That carries the heaviest sentence. Then there are 2 counts for sex trafficking and 2 counts for transportation to engage in prostitution for allegedly arranging to fly sex workers across state lines. Now, legal experts have said the last charge of crossing state lines, there seemed to be enough evidence submitted to establish those 2 final counts. But the racketeering one is the tricky one, and we talked to a defense attorney a short time ago about where it seems the jury is on so far as the racketeering charge is concerned. This is what he had to say.
In order to prove a racketeering conspiracy, the government needs to prove 2 racketeering acts and that one of the participants committed those acts. So it's very hard to tell what a jury is thinking, Lisa. They may be just going in order, but it may be that they're focusing on the specific racketeering acts. We don't know whether they've even gotten to the question of whether there was an enterprise and a racketeering conspiracy.
Okay, if we can make that even more plain English. In order for that racketeering charge to stick, the jury has to find a couple, at least 2 acts that are considered part of a racketeering conspiracy. It could be arson, it could be kidnapping, or it could be distribution of drugs. And that's one of the notes. That was the second note that the jury sent to the judge saying, can we get more of a description? And the judge said, all the descriptions are in the jury charges that I already handed to you guys. And we reread it. And the last line says, sale is not necessary for the distribution of a controlled substance. That may be very significant. That may indicate that that's something that the jury feels like indicates there was racketeering. What order they're going in terms of those counts that we just mentioned, we don't know, but it seems like the jury is making progress in this case. Bianca?
All right, then. Thank you so much, Arthur. Appreciate it. To this now, Zohran Mamdani officially wins the Democratic New York City mayoral primary. Mamdani defeating Andrew Cuomo in the third round, 56% to 44. Mamdani declared victory last week, after taking a commanding lead just hours after the polls closed. Cuomo conceded the contest on the night of the election, but is contemplating whether to run in the general election on an independent ballot. And developing in D.C., Senate Republicans narrowly passed President Trump's tax break and spending cut bill. Vice President J.D. Vance broke a 50-50 tie to secure the win for the White House. 3 GOP senates opposed the bill, including Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky and Tom Tillis of North Carolina. That legislation, dubbed the Big Beautiful Bill, now heads back to the House before it can reach the Oval Office. And a new photo shows the injuries an MTA worker sustained from an attack. The MTA says 51-year-old station agent Marsha Lee Reed was helping an elder rider when 2 women jumped the turnstile, refusing to pay. Reed told the pair that they must pay the fare. That's when they attacked her, pushing her to the ground and repeatedly kicking her. The union urging the mayor, NYPD, and MTA CEO Janner Lieber to surge more police into the subway.
I can't stress enough. Every week, every day, more than one person from our union is assaulted. When is this going to end? When did it become fashionable to beat up people that are just coming to work trying to do their job?
Reed is suffering from facial injuries and a swollen hand, and both suspects now on the run. Union leaders say once they are caught, they will pursue the maximum sentence of 7 years. Meanwhile, some new fare hikes taking effect on New Jersey Transit riders today. Fares are up by 3%. NJ Transit says it needs the extra money to close a $106 million budget gap, as fewer people are riding today than before the pandemic. Officials expect to collect $980 million this year, and they say that this is part of how they're going to get there. Last year, NJ Transit increased fares by 15%. Meanwhile, New York City is hosting its largest Summer Streets ever. This year, the car-free program will feature over 22 miles of open streets for pedestrians. For the first time ever, New Yorkers will also be able to travel the length of Manhattan from Brooklyn all the way to the Brooklyn Bridge in Inwood on a car-free route. That route goes down Broadway, cuts over on West 110th, and then continues on Park Ave and Lafayette Street to the Brooklyn Bridge. There will also be 2 free community races in partnership with the New York Roadrunners. And it's the last thing you want to hear about this beach season, shark sightings. It's already happening, though, on Long Island, and Fox 5's Jody Goldberg is at Jones Beach with the new precautions in place.
From drones to lifeguards on the lookout.
2 or 3 times in the morning, 2 or 3 times in the afternoon.
Surveillance is stepping up along Long Island shoreline after a 20-year-old woman was bitten in the leg and foot by a shark.
The shark was probably thinking they were, eating bait or bunker fish, and then unfortunately they grabbed this woman's leg, her left leg, and bit her.
Based on the bite, officials believe it was a juvenile sand tiger shark. But to prevent other encounters, they're using technology and teamwork.
As soon as someone sees anything even questionable, we'll have it called into park operations, utilizing lifeguards. Swimmers will be removed from the water at that location.
We do have an integrated communication system. We work very closely with the other municipalities, as well as we work very well with the city of New York.
There have been more than 10 reported shark bites on Long Island over the past 3 years. But more sightings don't necessarily mean more sharks.
The fact that we have so many baby sharks here on Long Island is a good indicator. It's a good habitat for them.
Researcher Greg Metzger says the booming bunker population is what's bringing the sharks closer to shore.
Predators follow the prey. So when you have a really good food source like these menhaden, you're going to have predators that follow them.
While some beachgoers feel safe,
life's a gamble. It's not like I'm going deep.
Others are choosing not to swim.
I never go in the ocean.
Now, officials say you can swim in the ocean, but do so where lifeguards are on duty. And if you see a school of fish, maybe get out for a little bit. That may indicate that a larger predator is following behind. At Jones Beach, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Well, let's take a look outside now to see if it may not be specifically beach weather we're talking about. Let's bring in meteorologist Audrey Puente for a look at the forecast. It's warm right now, but that's definitely changing.
Yeah, it feels like you'd like to be at the beach to get some relief, but unfortunately now we're starting to see showers and storms erupt across the region. So if you are at the area beaches, you want to be bringing it indoors. I want to zoom in on a few locations here. We can see showers and storms here on the radar, but I'm going to take you where it looks to be the most imminent. We see across the northern portions of the Jersey Shore, right about Atlantic Highlands over towards Red Bank. That's where we're seeing a thunderstorm rolling through, producing some downpours there. And then further down we go. Neptune Beach, Neptune City actually was pouring just earlier, but now that cell has moved offshore as well. But we have one shower approaching Belmar at the moment. Further north we go here. We can see a couple of showers in and around Brooklyn, heading towards Queens. We also have some across northern New Jersey here, heading towards Newark. East Orange has a rain shower right now, as well as Union, New Jersey. Up in the Hudson Valley, a couple of storms now firing up here in northern portions of Sullivan and Ulster, and even into Dutchess counties. These are moving from west to east and will gradually work their way downstate too. So if it's not raining where you are, still have your umbrella handy, because there's a lot more weather headed right in our direction. We have a line that's kind of blossoming and forming, taking shape just to our west. It's along a cold front that's going to be pushing through the region. So we expect the worst of the weather to be between 5 and 10 p.m. That's where we have the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. Damaging winds will be possible, as we'll have wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour, and rainfall rates very impressive, could be up to 2 inches an hour. As a result, we could have some flooding, especially across central portions of New Jersey. Here's the cold front. It'll be marching eastward, helping to ignite more showers and storms right through the evening commute. Unfortunately, right through the evening as well. This really doesn't die off until after about 10 or 11 p.m. So we'll still have lingering showers by midnight. And then tomorrow morning, the front is still hung up, so you could wake up to a thunderstorm along our coastal sections and a couple of scattered showers too. The front really doesn't push offshore until late in the day, and that's when we'll see better weather start to work into the picture here. Today we're looking for high temperatures around the upper 80s. It's feeling like the 90s though with the humidity. And tomorrow we'll have some morning showers. It still stays very warm as we go into the holiday weekend, but the good news is we'll be dry for our July 4th holiday. Bianca?
That's some good news. Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, escaping the heat of the concrete jungle just got a little easier. Rockaway Rocket Ferry services resumes on July 4th. For a limited time, riders can board the ferry from Long Island City or Greenpoint. Departures are 9:30 a.m., 12:30, or 4 p.m. Tickets are only $12, and riders can also take the more frequent regular Rockaway Ferry from Wall Street or Sunset Park, which is just $4.50. And it's July 1st and probably Bobby Bonilla's favorite day. The former Mets slugger gets a check today for over $1 million. The Mets bought out the remaining $5.9 million contract in 2000 and then agreed to make annual payments with 8% interest. Bonilla's been collecting the $1 million checks since 2011. Well, that's your news block for now. Bianca Peters, thanks for joining us. Tune into the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here tomorrow.